If you've logged on to this video, I want to welcome you. And in this video, what I want to do for you today is break down what you should be targeting on the Kia Telluride, whether you're planning on purchasing in cash, leasing, some maintenance costs, as well as insurance premiums, rough estimates for you guys. If you're one of my existing subscribers, what is happening? And if you're logging on for the first time, please consider subscribing, because this whole channel is going to teach you everything you're going to need to know so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. In the description below, you're going to find resources to be able to shop around not only for the best deal on the 2021 Kia Telluride, but you'll be able to check out incentives as well as estimate lease and finance payments. So in the country right now, we're seeing the majority of all Kia Tellurides being 2021s, roughly about 2,000 units across the US, with 660 of those units being EX models. It seems to be that the EX and the SX are sharing popularity in terms of what's in stock at the moment. Now, the MSRP of the EX I've got picked out for the sake of today's negotiation guide is $43,915. Now, when I say the markup from invoice to MSRP, what I'm trying to get at is what the dealership owns the vehicle for, what they bought the Telluride for, roughly from Kia before any and all manufacturer to dealer incentives, whatever they get for selling a certain amount of cars, what have you. On a dealer invoice sheet, we typically see about a 4.5% markup from invoice to MSRP, roughly about $41,995 on this particular Kia Telluride EX. Now, the target price that I want to suggest to you is the MSRP for the car. A lot of people, in some circumstances, are paying more than the MSRP as opposed to getting a discount from MSRP. However, I've been on multiple occasions, been able to secure MSRP, as in $43,915 as the selling price for the Kia. That's what I want to suggest to you to target when you're out there shopping around for the quotes, checking incentives, as well as estimating lease payments. Use the MSRP as the actual number that you want to get to. Now, from Kia right now on 2021s, we're seeing a 1.9% finance rate being offered as a promotional APR at 60 months. There is also a $500 bonus cash offer if you're financing through Kia Motor Finance. However, you'd also be giving up that 1.9%. Now, in terms of leasing, this changes very, very often throughout the year, as well as if we're discussing a 2020 or in this circumstance, a 2021 model. What typically happens is that the residual tends to go down, as well as lease cash tends to get released. Right now, there are no incentives, especially the ones that people typically get, which is typically conquest or loyalty. Basically, if you're leasing out a Kia right now, you typically get like $1,000 on these Telluride deals. However, right now, that incentive isn't available. Expect that incentive in the coming months. If you're curious to know how I figure out incentives, lease cash, money factor, residual, I've got my course in the description below where I teach you how to scrape all this information. Now, we are seeing a 64% residual at 10,000 miles a year on the EX all-wheel drive. Going up to 12,000 brings you down to 63% and 61% at 15,000. A money factor of 0.00152, and like I mentioned, no lease cash. Now, I know some of you guys missed this. I haven't done this in a while. Plugging it all into the lease calculator and assuming that MSRP as our target and giving just the inception fees due at start, so your first payment, acquisition fee, doc fee, registration, all that good stuff due up front, roughly about $1,800, we'd be talking about $584 a month. And that's including sales tax, you guys. Now, this is at MSRP. If you're one of the luckier ones that get MSRP, or hell, even less, anything that you get in addition, say as a $1,000 discount, or you're putting down $1,000 more down, reduce $27 from this target payment. If you want to put $2,000 less down, so it's just a zero down lease, like a completely zero down, then add $55 to the payment to make up for. Now, getting into some of the maintenance items, guys, Kia on the Telluride has an interval set up for 7,500 miles at a time where you bring in the car to the dealership where they basically do an oil change and inspect a whole bunch of things that may or may not actually need inspection. They'll rotate the tires and what have you. I'll put the whole list right here so you can check it out. For this over-glorified oil change, you could probably expect a bill for about $200. Now, if you're reaching mileage where your brakes are giving out and you do need to get them replaced, expect about $300 for front or back, with about $400 being what I'd probably guesstimate as the maximum for the brake job on the Telluride. If we were to get an accurate quote from Kia, you'd probably get somewhere close to this. However, I do want to recommend taking it to an independent mechanic, keeping the receipts, and making sure that they use original parts. Spark plugs, we're typically seeing a cost, again, of between $300 and $350. Again, I want to recommend taking it to an independent. So realistically speaking, maintenance cost, upkeep is not all too much. I'm sure you could shop around to different mechanics to get even lower on the labor costs, and maybe even buy the parts on your own via one of these authorized Kia dealership parts websites online. Don't know if Amazon has gotten into that just yet. As far as insurance, I did plug in all the details into eSurance, and I was surprised at how low the quote was. For a 6-month policy, I was quoted $456, assuming the coverage that you need for an actual lease as opposed to just bare minimum. I do have a decent driving record, no accidents, nothing crazy in the last few years. So $456 on a 6-month policy, or I would assume about $900-ish for a 12-month policy, or if you decide to pay monthly, it's about $96. I do have a link so that you can get a quote for insurance down below, as well as shop around the deal to all the dealerships in your area. I hope that this information was useful to you guys, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.